We've been joined in the studio by Chyna. Good morning, Chyna.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show, by the way.
Thanks for having me.
Chyna's in town doing some stuff at the Uptown Cabaret tonight, right?
Tonight and tomorrow night.
What,
yes.
and what 2 shows, right?
Yes.
11 and 1, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, I'm going to show one boob tonight.
Okay.
And I'm going to show the other boob tomorrow night.
Hang on, let me write this down. One boob tonight. Is that left tonight?
Are you going to switch it up for the Saturday show? Switching it up.
Sadly, guys like Woody would go, I'm going for the left. I'm going just tonight.
Are they different? I mean, is there one that we'd rather see than the other in your estimation?
No.
Okay.
I have the perfect rack right now, so I'm like ready to go in all departments.
Well, and you, by the way, I don't know even if you were aware of this. I think you were, because I think we asked you first somehow that you are one of our auction items in our Kids First of the Carolinas, and a guy named Jeff, I believe it was, bid $200 to have the opportunity to come in and meet you this morning, and he hasn't shown up yet.
Well, I think it's very cool though that that you're doing this. I remember, when I was a little girl, and we used to get gifts. Our family used to get gifts from the Salvation Army.
Did you?
And I didn't know that when we were little. You don't know those things, but
Sure.
I still remember like the red sleigh and the candies and stuff like that. So things like that are really very important, especially not to forget, during the holidays.
Yeah, and we've heard from a lot of people who, had that same situation in the group that we work with, Kids First of the Carolinas. It's just 2 ladies, and they help like 600 kids at Christmas time, and it's the same thing. It's kids who wouldn't maybe get any gifts, or they don't have a place to live. I mean, some of it is amazingly sad, and they're able to turn stuff around real quickly and take care of all these problems. It's just
and
tremendous.
I mean, the kids don't know. That just makes them happy. So.
Yeah, and we're hearing from kids who, they don't expect anything, and maybe they ask for a pillow for Christmas. I mean, that sort of thing. And it's like, it's horrible, but at the same time, at least they're able to then provide it for them, with all the money that we raise here. So thanks for doing that and for being here. And
yeah, because I think there's a lot of people in your position who would be like, you know what, that's great, but no, I'm not going to do it.
Well, I could do that on one hand, and then on the other hand, I'm hoping that, there'll be a lot of backdoor to Chynas and the stocking stuffers. Well, wait a minute. That's a lot of action right there.
I'm not going to go.
I wasn't going to touch it either, but I was like, every
minute.
fiber in my body trying to go, don't make a joke. Don't make a joke. She's sincere right now. Don't make a joke.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, are there any more movies in your future?
Yes, I film Monday, actually.
Really?
Yes. As soon as I'm done with my...
Is it front
my to-do here at Uptown Cabaret, I'm going back and I'm filming my second movie. The first one was such a huge success, by the way. It was crazy. And this one's going to be wrestling related. So I can't give you the details, except I'm very excited to film, first of all, because Vivid has been amazing, and I probably wouldn't have, if you would have asked me, I don't know, how many years ago would I be doing porn, I would have said never in a million years, but to me, Vivid is kind of the Playboy of porn, and it was it's such they make it look so beautiful and so fun, safe environment, and so I mean, I could not turn it down. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but it's great. I love it.
I'm a fan of wrestling, but it's not that far of a stretch to see people who slam their bodies into each other, then slam their bodies into each other on film, just without the lycra in between you, right? I mean, it's...
Well, I think also, for me personally, I did the wrestling, but then I did Playboy, which, when I first got naked for Playboy, it was very awkward. And that was but then after I did Playboy the first time, then that was kind of normal to me because, I saw that as like beautiful art, visual art, and which Playboy is. And so to go to Vivid wasn't that much of a stretch because I have done a lot of movies and television, and so for me, kind of putting them all, and I've had worse dates, believe you me. So I figured, what the heck, let's do it.
We may need to talk later. I may need some tips.
Yes.
We, of course, are talking to Chyna. You know her from wrestling. Now you know her from Backdoor to Chyna, and apparently a new one coming starting on Monday. And she's here in town, obviously, at the Uptown Cabaret. A couple shows tonight and a couple shows tomorrow. I had a question for now. Just went. Oh, you said you did Playboy. When you do Playboy, and I don't think I've ever asked anybody who's been in Playboy this. Is Hefner around at all? Do you see him? I mean, I'm sure you've met him over the course of time, but I mean, when you actually, let's say you're doing a shoot, does he show up and like toddle around the set? Or
I mean, no, it depends on who you are, I suppose. But I mean,
in your case, was he around?
In my case, the first one, yes. Of course, I happen to be very close with Hef.
Okay, I didn't know if you were close with him or not.
The second Playboy I did was one of the biggest. Well, the first one was the biggest top seller of all time. The second one, he decided to do a big production, so we took a few sound stages and we made a huge production out of it, and it was like the biggest set that I've ever seen. And he came in, of course, to like just kind of stick his head and say,
Heck
you know,
yeah.
what's going on, you know, is
Because he
everything going
can,
cool?
right?
And it's amazing. I mean, the amount of respect and like everybody is so on their game. It's like, wow, I can't believe that, you know, this is going to be the end of an era soon. You know, it was one of the highlights of my life.
Was
For
doing
sure.
the Playboy stuff?
Absolutely.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
It changed my life.
Huh.
I went from, you know, killer Chyna to, you know, showing that feminine. It was like, kind of remember Vince saying like, well, you'll never be world champion if you do Playboy, you know? And at that point I was like, I've already shown my athletic skill, you know, I've already done my due, and, you know, I'm a woman, and I, you know, would never turn down the opportunity to do Playboy. And once I did that, it did change my life.
You seem to bring a lot of athleticism. I've seen Backdoor to China to your films as well, and to the point where I'm like, hold on a second, I'm going to pause it here and just contemplate what exactly is going on. There's a lot of athleticism that's going on.
I suppose, you know, I had never watched a porn. Well, I still haven't.
They're
even since
fantastic,
the
by the
movie.
way. I highly recommend them. You should check out this company called Vivid. They do really good work.
Well, I mean, I knew about the girls because I used to go down, you know, Sunset Strip, and they'd have Vivid had billboards, and then if I would go into the bookstores, they had the calendars, and I remember that specifically because I would look at the girls' makeup and, you know, things that we girls do. We're looking at magazines, and I would check out the makeup and stuff like that. Same as like Playboy, and so I knew that I knew the reputation of the company, but once I did the first one, I was going to kind of like do my research, but it is kind of silly to me, and I want it still to be kind of real. So I want my reactions and everything that I try, you know, I want to have a natural reaction to it. So I haven't watched any.
So in other words, are you saying that you don't watch other people's work in porn so that you don't start copying maybe
Yeah,
or
I mean,
emulating
I don't want
them?
to. Yeah, I want it
She
to
wants
be.
to have her own style, I think, is what she said.
I want to like really go through these. A lot of them are new experiences for me, you know, and I view it kind of much the same as wrestling. When I went in there, kind of, I didn't know a whole lot, and I had people around me that were kind of, you know, show me the ropes and stuff, and I want that to be the same experience, you know, sexually. I mean, as far as the movies and the glamour is definitely there. I mean, filming is a pleasure. It's a lot of fun. It's very glamorous, actually.
We're talking to Chyna. She'll be at the Uptown Cabaret tonight and tomorrow, 2 shows, 11 and 1. And we're going to give you an update, by the way, on our Kids First of the Carolinas auction tallies. As far as the filming of the porn, back to that for a second. How much of that is laid out as to you're going to do this now, you're going to do that now, and how much is like, just freestyle, have fun. What do you want to do here? I mean, how much of that is scripted out?
Well, my director is amazing, B. Scow.
B. Scout.
Sorry, Gesundheit.
And when I remember the first day, my first scene, I was really nervous. Because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And then
I would be too.
He really guides you through the whole thing. And, you know, after the first 2 minutes, I was fine. You know, I realized that I was
finished after the
going
first
to
2
be
minutes.
just fine. I mean, physically, I'm not going to say that physically, like, I was not prepared physically for what came my way.
Mel,
Let
do
me just
you
put
want
it
to
that
give
way.
Chyna any tips, by
I
the way?
was not prepared at all for that.
Do I want to give tips, please? I want to hear stories after we shut the mics down. That's what I want to do. I'd like to take notes, please.
Wait, what do you mean you weren't prepared? Well, I mean, you say you weren't prepared
Wow,
for the physical
You need to-
demands.
I think you
I
need
don't.
to
I mean,
see
I don't
the
want to get
movie.
too
I think you
graphic,
just
but
made
I
it
am.
up.
Okay. I say besides, you know, what happened, like, you know, what you're supposed to do, that wasn't the hard part. It was the physical size of the guys, basically.
Ah,
That it was just like,
You're used to
I
more
couldn't
my
tell you,
size.
Mel. Okay, you're about to have like a giant tree trunk split you in half. Okay, just relax.
No one's used to your size,
You
which
know?
is why you don't have sex. This is why we're talking over here. You be quiet, Woody.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. So,
You wouldn't.
and
feel
I don't know,
a thing.
like if I'm gonna be used to that. Like I don't know if this time that I'm kind of gonna expect it, or you know, if it'll still feel the same.
You're
I'm not
setting
sure.
yourself up for a horrible disappointment. I speak for men all over the planet.
Well, now I'm
You're
like,
you're
oh my
welcome,
gosh,
fellas.
what's gonna happen now?
All right, well, hold that thought. It's Chyna. She's at the Uptown Cabaret tonight and tomorrow. We're going to give you an update here on the Kids First of the Carolinas auction, which now officially has ended. We'll get a tally on some of that stuff. I think maybe we have some passes to get in to see Chyna tonight, too, right? Okay, we'll do that as well. 1 minute from now. Hang on. More coming up.